Alright, y'all, let's talk about this album real quick. Y'all ready? It's lit.
I came to vibe, you came to function, just do that, baby. Don't worry about nothing, no. I came to vibe, you came to function, just do that, baby. Don't worry about nothing, no.
What's good, y'all? It's your boy Bright here, the R&B Kid. Back again with another review for y'all. On today's video, we're going to be talking about the new Kanye project, Jesus is King. This is his 9th album that he released on October 25th, 2019 on Good Music and Def Jam. So I know this video is a little bit late, y'all. I'm sorry. I know this video is mad late, but you know, better late than never. And listen, a brother that's been caught up, you know, between work and school, I've been caught up. I've been hella busy. You know, just life has been happening. So I'm sorry. I know this video is late, but you know, I'm here now. I just wanted to give you my quick thoughts on this album because I feel like everybody and their mom have been talking about it. So I just wanted to give you my thoughts on it. If you haven't checked out my review on Kanye's last project, yay, go check it out. I definitely did a reaction and review for the album, so go check that out if you haven't already. Let me know what y'all think about that project too. But yeah, man, this is Kanye's 9th album. It's just crazy to see, you know, his journey as an artist and as an entity in hip-hop, and just to see where he's, you know, where he's come from, how far he's come from his first album up until now, and just the whole crazy journey he's been on, man. So, yeah, man, it's not culminated in his latest project, his first, like, actual, I would say, like, full gospel album or gospel project. At least he's saying, you know, quote-unquote expression of gospel. So, this is gonna be the first type of project of that kind in his catalog. So this is an interesting moment in his career, and this is an interesting moment in hip-hop. So let's talk about it. Let's get the conversation started. So y'all ready? Let's go. Alright, y'all, so before I talk about the album, I just want to talk about something that's really been on my mind lately. I'm just trying to figure out how y'all cancel Kanye, but he's at least at this point he now has one of the highest, you know, first week sales of the year, at least for hip-hop, definitely. I'm just like, I need can y'all comment below, like, you know, what y'all think about that dynamic, because the amount of hate Kanye's gotten over the past few years, I kind of understood how he hit #1 with Ye, because like he had just started all this bullshit. But now that it's been some time that has passed since, like, you know, Kanye's been canceled, how the hell is he still getting a #1 album with one of the highest first week sales of the year? Can y'all let me know that, because I don't get that. But besides that, like, I just want to talk about that because I never canceled Kanye, and I talked about that in my Ye review, and I also had another video about it where I was talking about Kanye, Bill Cosby, and R. Kelly back when they were going through a lot of media bullshit last year. But I talked about how pretty much I'm not canceling Kanye because at the end of the day, you know, he has said some stupid shit, and I really hated how he aligned himself with Trump in the way that he did. And I just think that he definitely needs to be educated and needs to be embraced by people who love him and by people who want to see him do good and see him thrive. Like, I feel like he doesn't have enough people in his corner who are just checking him and educate him when he needs to be educated and checked. So I think that's why we're seeing him at the point where he's at now. But to me, Kanye has never done anything that's been like, you know, warranting of a full, like, cancellation from humanity. Like, he's never done anything that made me be like, yo, like, we need to cancel Kanye from the world. Like, nah, like, he ain't raped nobody, he ain't killed nobody, like, he ain't done nothing that's worthy of me saying, like, yeah, I'm gonna cancel you out of my life, you know, as an artist. You know, I don't think it's been that deep for me. But yeah, like I said, I'm just curious as to how he's about to have one of the biggest albums of the year, even though y'all canceled him. Like, y'all let me know how that works. So, alright. But now let's get to the album. Alright, y'all, so talking about the album now as a whole, I have many thoughts about this album, so I'm gonna try and organize it the best way I can, but just follow me. I think first thing I would say about this album is that I feel like some of the best parts about the album aren't even about Kanye himself, like, which is funny enough in itself. Like, I think, like, I really do think that, like, when I think about the best parts about this album, he did do the production, so that counts, I guess. But like the production, the choir, the vibe, the features on the album, I think some of the best parts about this album weren't even about him. So I just think that's one of the interesting parts about this album, and I definitely had to mention that. And talk more about the choir, man. The choir, I think, was what was the glue for this album, what really held this album down together sonically, and just in terms of the feeling. I feel like Kanye, he did his part to bring that you know, that gospel, you know, otherworldly, you know, higher feeling that you get from Christian and gospel music. I feel like he did his part as much as he could as someone who's newly entering the space. But that choir held it down, man. Especially on that first track, Every Hour. The choir was on point throughout so many tracks, but especially on that first track, Every Hour. Whoo, man. Oh man, that choir, they did that. So I just have to mention that choir was the best part about this album, low-key. So yeah. And also, I do feel like this album feels hella good. To me, the production, the vibe of it, the feeling, it all really does feel hella good. It comes off sounding hella good, feeling hella good. But I also wouldn't be mad at someone saying that to them it feels like a caricature of gospel music and just that whole sound. I wouldn't be mad at someone saying that at all. I could totally see why they feel that and why they get that from the album, if that makes sense. I don't know, y'all know that meme. Y'all know that meme where the dude, where this like big dude is like, you know, Jesus Christ, you know, I'm here for Jesus Christ. Y'all know that. I feel like this album in some parts feels like a musical like representation of that meme. like yeah, like, you know, I'm with Christ and I feel him, but like this is also like on some like funny, you know, meme shit. So I feel like that kind of comes across with this album at some points, but besides that, I really do feel like the album just feels hella good. So alright, so kind of going more into that, I think what made the album feel that way is really because I feel like, I would say the bars were just really regular at many points throughout this album. Kanye's energy was there. You could tell his drive to deliver good music and to deliver good messages was there. But unfortunately, I feel like the way the bars actually came across and the way they were delivered, I just feel like so many tracks just like they were building up to a good climax, but then like Ye's bars didn't really make the track go where it could have gone. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I feel like in some parts throughout some songs in this album, the bars were just hella regular. And I think that's a big part of what brought the album down a little bit. And I also feel like he didn't really go as deep as I was hoping he would go in terms of really talking about his newfound journey as, like, you know, being born again and being saved now, and on his new journey to fully, you know, getting in touch with his Christianity and with his connection to God. I feel like he didn't go as deep on that journey, or, you know, on his personal journey of going on that. I feel like he didn't really go as deep as I was hoping he would go, rather than just presenting it. Like, he presented it like, yeah, I'm going through this journey, I'm on this new wave, I'm on this new movement, but I feel like Ye is the perfect person who really could have like just gone a little bit deeper into how it all started and how he's going through this journey and what it means for him, rather than just on a surface level trying to connect it to everybody else. Does that make sense? So that's just how I feel about it. And also, to me, I feel like the album does come off as authentic. It doesn't feel like it's like a corny, you know, copycat version of some Christian album that inspired Kanye. I feel like it does come off as authentic, especially to Kanye and his sound. But but to me, it doesn't come off as authentic as I hoped it would, if that makes sense. Kind of like with the bars, like it comes off as authentic, but it doesn't come off as authentic as I hoped it would. But then again, this is Kanye's first like project really fully dealing with gospel, so maybe that's part of it, that this is his first project doing this. But it does, in some parts, it does feel a little bit like disingenuous, a little bit with some of the lyrics and some of the way he did things. But overall, I think what really made it all come together is the fact that Kanye has not lost his sense of production or vibe at all. Like, this man can still produce the hell out of an album. The production was fire. The vibe he set, the mood he set, the feeling he set was just there. You know, and if some people have an issue with maybe the album not feeling as authentic as they want it to be, like me in some places, or other people who feel like this album might be like a meme caricature version of gospel, I don't think they could deny that at least the beats and the production and the vibe that was set was just pure fire. So that's where I stand on it. If you disagree, let me know why. But I feel like even if you hate this album, you can't deny that the production really held it together, and the vibe and the mood that Kanye set was just all on point, and it really all made it come together, even in its lowest moments. So yeah. So kind of going a little bit more into that, I would say all in all, I feel like this album, it really did have a great foundation in terms of like the production and the messaging and concepts. It had a great foundation for what it was trying to be, but to me, it did come off a little bit disjointed and almost like a really cool mixtape that was on its way to being like a legendary, like, game-changing project with just a little bit more time, more polishing, harder bars and concepts, and like just more concentration on like the delivery of the music. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I feel about it. Another critique I have for the album is I feel like I understand we're in the streaming era where every song should be short, but I just feel like there's no reason why this album couldn't have been over at least 30 minutes. Like, this album was like 27, 28 minutes. I feel like there's no reason why this album shouldn't have been over 30 minutes. Yeah, I feel like some of the songs were just way too short, especially Everything We Need. That was a good example of a track that I feel like this should have been way longer. I'm like, damn, this track was getting into his bag and then it just cut off. I was cool with the intro being short, but like some of these, like Follow God, Follow God, Everything We Need, like those tracks should have been longer. I was cool with the intro and outro being short, but I feel like the meat of this album, the song should have been way longer. So that's the critique I had. I know a lot of people love short songs, but I like songs to be at least like, at least 3-4 minutes. That's how I like a song to be, especially by an artist like Kanye West. So that was the issue I had with the project. I feel like some songs are just too short, but I don't know something like that. So let me know what y'all thought about the song length, but I feel like this album should have been a little bit longer. Alright, so I think a recent issue with Kanye's music, especially in the past few years, and as we see, especially with his past 2 projects, Ye and now Jesus is King, I think especially on these last 2 projects, what we're seeing is I feel like Kanye, he's having a hard time, and he really isn't coming up with like, fully thought out, well-rounded, well-constructed and well-executed ideas and concepts for songs. But he's rather just like creating a vibe and piecing together like, small parts and small ideas for songs over a dope beat, and over some dope production, and just calling it a day for the most part. So I feel like from that we see that all the songs still feel good, the album feels good, but it just doesn't feel as impactful as his earlier work. So let me know if that makes sense, but I feel like that's been the issue with him lately. It's just like I find myself feeling like the songs, they feel hella good, like they sound good, they feel good, but because they seem really choppy in terms of like the concept or like the melody or the way he constructed it, the songs don't always feel as like as flowy as I feel like they used to feel with his earlier work. So it doesn't feel as impactful. It feels like you're enjoying the vibe, but like you're not, I don't know if you're getting exactly, feel like you're listening to a song that you feel like will stay in your life and be like, a constant part of your playlist for the rest of your life, like compared to earlier Kanye projects. So let me know if you think I'm bugging, but if that makes sense, let me know. A lot of these, like even with the last album, Ye, like a lot of those songs I don't play till today. Like I don't have them on repeat. But if I go back and listen to the album, I'm like, oh yeah, like this album sounds good. I enjoy these tracks, but I don't find myself going back and listening to those tracks all the time. And I feel like it'll be the same thing with this album. This album it feels good. It's a great project, but am I gonna go back and really be listening to these songs repeatedly like years from now, like on my own accord? I don't know if I'll be doing that. So that's why I feel like this project stands. But let me know if y'all disagree. So yeah, man, I mean, I feel like, kind of going off that, I feel like this album feels like almost like a gospel twin to Ye. Both like, were like no more than like, I think Ye was like 8 tracks or something, this one's like 11 tracks, short amount of tracks, not too long. The album feels very disjointed, but it still feels unified at the same time in a weird way. But yeah, I feel like this is a gospel twin to Ye in terms of the way it feels and the way it's kind of delivered to us. And therefore that shows us that it's gonna be quality songs, just like Ye was quality songs, especially after repeated listens. You might not like them at first, but after repeated listens you'll definitely be like, okay, these are quality records. But I feel like it still stands as one of the weaker projects in his catalog. I don't know if I could rank Jesus is King like in his top 5. I feel like I might rank this above Ye, but this definitely one of the weaker projects in his catalog, I'd say, as a whole so far. So that's just how I feel. But let me know if y'all think differently. The truth is, I'm rocking with more tracks that I'm not on this album. Like, I'm really rocking with every track in a different type of way. There were 2, I wasn't really feeling Water and God Is at first. Those were 2 tracks I wasn't really feeling at first. And also Close on Sunday, I had an issue when I first heard it, but then after more listens, I got into all the tracks on the album. So I really do appreciate every track on the album for what it is and for what it was trying to do. So even though I'm rocking with almost all the tracks, there's something that still does feel like a little bit incomplete for me on the album. I can't really pinpoint it, but there's something that does feel a little bit incomplete. But besides that, the truth is, like I said, I'm rocking with almost all the tracks on this album in their own ways. So I gotta give it to Ye for that, at least. Okay, so I had to talk about this. I have to talk about this because I'm hella curious about it. Something I was thinking about with this album, I think the funny thing about this album is I keep thinking about how with this album, as someone who grew up in the church, as someone who grew up Christian, as someone who grew up, you know, being very familiar with gospel and still appreciating it and liking it to this day, it wasn't hard for me to access this album and to understand and comprehend it at all. I vibe with it because I know gospel music. I know what it sounds like. I know what it feels like. I appreciate it. I like it. But I kept wondering what the experience would be like for his fans who don't like gospel music or who just aren't familiar with it, who haven't experienced it yet, who just don't know it. I know there are plenty of Kanye fans out there who just don't listen to gospel music, don't rock with it, or maybe even if they would like it, they just haven't, they don't listen to it, they don't experience it, they don't really know, you know, what's good, what's not good, so they don't really know how to feel about it. So I would just wonder what the experience is like for those fans listening to this album. You know, for me, I feel like I could have a totally different experience because I'm familiar with gospel, but for those who are not familiar with gospel, like, how do they digest this album? I feel like I would assume those fans, the average fan who's like that, probably loved still the production and the vibe he had on the album, but I'm pretty sure they might have been turned off by a lot of the lyrical, you know, content. Maybe not so much just talking about Jesus, but really talking more so about, I don't know, just like maybe like the choir and like maybe the way like some songs are arranged. I feel like that could turn some fans off who just aren't into gospel. But that's something I kept thinking about throughout this whole album, is how would I experience this album if I was someone who wasn't into gospel, who didn't grow up and who don't know it like that. So I don't know if I can answer that question, but you know, if anybody who watches my channel, you fit that description, you know, comment down below, let me know how you thought about your experience listening to this album as someone who wasn't really familiar with gospel, who doesn't really understand it or know it or like it. Like, let me know. I'm really curious. But for me, I feel like because I'm into gospel, it was way easier for me to access this album and understand it. So I just had to point that out for sure. Alright, y'all, so I'm pretty sure like most of y'all, I miss the old Kanye. I miss the old Kanye. I really do. I miss the old Kanye. And I just miss the iconic vibes that we got from that whole, you know, era in his career, man, still to this day. But you know, even though I do miss the old Kanye, at the end of the day, nothing, not taking away from the new Kanye at all musically, not, you know, all the social stuff, of course, but musically, I'm not taking anything away from Kanye now, but I really do miss the old Kanye. But even though that's the case, I still do think that this album will be the album that will signal the eternal shift that we'll see in Kanye's musical and conceptual output from here on out. Even if he doesn't fully commit to doing gospel for the rest of his career, you know, I still feel like this album will be the album that we'll look back and see, okay, that was the change, that was the shift that we saw in his career, starting with that album. So this is an important moment in hip-hop, an important moment in his career. But the question is now, is that going to be a good thing or a bad thing? That's the question. I you know, I'm still on the bright side, you know, but I'm leaning towards bad as of right now, because I do think that this is going to be the start of the decline in Kanye's career. Not so much in terms of maybe numbers, but maybe in terms of musical output. This album is solid, but I think this could potentially be the beginning of the next phase of his career, where the music will just not continue to be as good as it used to be when he was in his peak. I mean, and I guess a lot of artists go through that, but I've always envisioned Kanye as someone who could continue to do what he did back in the day, but in a new form. And I feel like I didn't expect what he's doing today. You know, what we see with the Ye album and this album, I didn't expect a lot of his musical output to be like what it is today and how it feels today. But I'm not mad at it, but it's not what I expected. But even though, like I said, even though I'm leaning towards bad, I also could see the total opposite happening. I could totally see this being, you know, the start of a new phase in his career where he just changes the game and he fully commits to gospel and it works out for the better, and it's amazing. I could totally see that happening too, and I would love that, and I would be here for that. And I would love to see what it would mean, not only for his career and for, you know, his potential as a future, you know, game-changing rapper who had amazing impact with what he did in hip-hop, with infusing gospel into hip-hop on, you know, on a full-time basis, not on a part-time basis. But I also would love to see what it would do for hip-hop as a whole to have Kanye really spearhead this movement that started with this album. So I don't know where in the spectrum that'll be. Like I said, I'm leaning towards bad, but if it's for the better, I'll be happy and I'll be here for it, and I would love that. But let me know what y'all think will happen from here on out. Do y'all think this change we'll see in Kanye's career will be for the better or for the worse? Let me know what y'all think. Yeah, and I'm also highly upset at Ye talking about the fact that he's no longer gonna perform his old music in its original form anymore. Like, bruh, come on, I get it. Like, Ye, I get it. You on a new spiritual journey, you on a new path, you on a new wave in your life, and you probably want to embrace all that older music that was hella secular. I get it. But my thing is, like, as a rapper, and just not even as a rapper, as an artist who has one of the most iconic catalogs in music history, period, I find it's so frustrating to me that he doesn't want to perform any of his older material because of the newfound journey he's on. Like I said, I get it, but man, this man has one of the most iconic catalogs of all time, some of the most classic hits of all time. Like, I have no problem with the music coming back in a different form, but I just hate that he's like saying like he's banning himself from his own music. Like, it's not a good move in my opinion. It's a bad move. I get it, but it's a bad move. But listen, this could be a whole other topic for a whole other video, so I'll get off of it. Alright, y'all, so I'm about to close it out, but I guess just rounding off some of my random thoughts about some particular tracks. Like I said, I love the intro. Every Hour was fire. Selah, that was a really cool track. The choir kills on the track as well. Follow God, one of my favorite beats on the album. I love the energy and the production on Follow God so much, but I just wish he came a little bit different. I wish he came harder with the bars. I think Follow God was a song in particular where I was like, damn, this track is fire, but like the bars are like bringing it down because they're not that exciting, you know what I'm saying? So I wish the bars were more exciting on Follow God, but I still did appreciate what he did with the track. Let's see, Close on Sunday. Man, there's still something so corny about Close on Sunday. There's something that's still corny about it. But man, it's such a vibe though. It's still a vibe. I don't know. I hated the song at first, but then I kept listening to it. I was like, damn, this track's a vibe. I like the way he arranged it. I just wish the lyrics were a little bit different, but I like what he did with it. It was still creepy at the same time. It was corny, but still creative. So yeah, interesting track. One of the most interesting tracks on the album for sure. On God was cool. Definitely probably one of the best produced tracks on the album. And I liked a lot of stuff he was saying on that track as well. I liked all the lyrics on that track. Great vibe on that one. Really powerful. Let's see, Everything We Need. I love Ty Dolla $ign's voice on that track. Ty Dolla $ign, you killed your vocal on that track. That was amazing. You killed that shit, brother. You did. Like I said, I was just mad it was hella short, but I also love the message on that track too. We got everything we need, and a lot of times we forget that, but it's so true. We got everything that we need already. We always looking for something, and it's true. We always want something more, but we already have everything we do need. So I love that message. It's true. Water, I didn't like that track at first, but I got into it after some more listens. That's a vibe. I love the way they arranged that track. It's a really powerful, deep track. Really nicely arranged. God Is, I didn't like this track at first either, especially because of his like croaky, like, raspy ass, tone when he was singing and rapping. But I still like the vibe and the feeling of it, so it does feel somewhat like I don't know, like just mad repetitive, but like it was still cool. Hands On was one of my other favorite tracks off this album. I really appreciate this track. I love Fred Hammond's part 2. And I really loved how on Hands On he talked about Christians being the first ones to judge him for his new album and for his new movement. And I thought that was so on point. That's so real. Christians, they're all about bringing more people into the church, but when people do wrong or people ain't perfect, they be the first ones to judge. And I know that growing up in the church, I know how that is. Especially black people, we need to do better. Black Christians, we need to do better throughout our communities in terms of judging our fellow man. We definitely, that's an issue. So I'm glad Kanye brought that up. It's real as hell. He's like, yeah, Christians gonna be the first ones gonna judge me. I was like, wow, that's real as hell. Use This Gospel, that was a really great track. Man, it was great seeing Clips back together again after like how many years? When was the last time Clips was together? Like 2006, 7, 8? Like, so it was good seeing them back together again. And man, the saxophone solo by Kenny G on that track, bananas. I could listen to that shit all day. That shit was bananas. Shout out to Kenny G. That sax was crazy. And overall, Use This Gospel was just another highlight too. Great bars by Clips, good energy on that track. So it was cool to start ending the album off. And then Jesus Lord, it was a cool little outro, really short, but cool little outro that ended the vibe off right. So yeah, man, I think all in all, if you say this album is trash, I can't be mad at you. And if you say this album is genius, you know, next level, game changing, I can't be mad at you either. I can't be mad at either person. I feel like everybody's like one or the other, but I'm truly somewhere in the middle. For me, I can't say this album is trash, but I can't say it's like, you know, a genius, amazing project, one of the best he's ever done, because I don't think that at all. But I'm really somewhere in the middle. I'm truly somewhere in the middle. I'm torn. This has probably been one of the most divisive albums of the year, in a really fascinating way. I don't know. I'm hella torn on it. It's a vibe, and it comes together. It comes together well, but like, you know, the bars weren't there. And, you know, some people could think it comes off as like not authentic, or it comes off as like, you know, like a memey version of gospel music. So I get that too. I'm torn. I'm right down the middle. But I wouldn't say it's trash, and I wouldn't say it's amazing either. I'm right down the middle. When I first heard the album, I thought it was trash, but then when I heard it a second, third time, I was like, okay, no. I actually really got into it. I was like, okay, you know, Kanye, like, this is a really solid project. Like, all the songs are really solid. It just takes some time to get into it, you know what I'm saying? But the album definitely registers for me better now than when I first heard it. So, yeah. So, I mean, it's hella hard to come up with some favorite tracks for this album, because one is only 11 tracks, and I feel like all the songs are kind of like equally good in their own way. So it's hard for me to point out my favorite tracks, but if I had to, I guess I'd probably say Every Hour, Follow God, Close on Sunday, Hands On, and Useless Gospel, I guess. But every track is equally good in its own different way. Like, they're all a vibe in their own way. So it was hard to point out my favorite tracks, but if I had to, I guess I'd say those. And for my rating for this album, guys, I was kind of going back and forth between a 3 and a 3.5. At one point, I definitely thought this album was a 2 or 2.5, but I don't think it's that bad anymore. Like I said, I was going back and forth between a 3 and a 3.5, but I think I'll give this album a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I'll give it a 3.5. I feel like it's a fair score. I feel like it's definitely, I wouldn't say it's a 4 and above, but I also don't feel like it's a 3 or below. So I feel like I'll just give it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. But let me know what y'all think about that rating down below. Alright, y'all, so that was my review of Jesus is King by Kanye, the new album from Ye himself. Let me know what y'all thought about the album down below. Let me know what y'all thought about my review. Give me y'all favorite tracks below. Let me know if y'all thought the album was amazing, if you thought it was trash, or if you thought it was kind of just like in the middle like me, like it was good, not terrible, but it wasn't amazing, but it was solid like me. Let me know all your thoughts below. Let me know what y'all think about this new phase in Kanye's career and what it'll mean for the rest of his career from here on out. Let me know what you think this album will mean for hip hop. I already gave y'all my thoughts, but now let me now let me know what y'all think about it. I'm really interested to see what y'all think about this album. If y'all think this album is trash, let me know why. If you think it's amazing, please let me know why. And I'm cool to hear all your opinions. All right, appreciate y'all. And if you haven't already, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Do all that and more, okay? And like I always say, guys, live your best life, drink more water, stay woke, and if you're mad or sad, go listen to your favorite song, make you feel better, okay? Go listen to your favorite song. Alright, y'all, but this has been your boy Bright, the R&B Kid. Thank you for watching, but for now, I'm signing off, baby. Bye, y'all. Peace.
I came to vibe, you came to function, just do that, baby. Don't worry about nothing, no. I came to vibe, you came to function, just do that, baby. Don't worry about nothing, no. Relax just a little bit. You don't gotta worry, you can just have fun.